Over the past 24 hours, Keir Starmer has been front and center, making headlines with back-to-back speeches and interviews. The Labour leader has laid out a series of proposed plans, some of which have sparked intense reactions across the UK. Today, we're diving into these developments, including a move already called catastrophic by many Britons. But before we get into the details, hit that like button and subscribe to join our growing community. Thursday brought one of Starmer's most controversial proposals yet, a plan to enforce a widespread smoking ban. This move, which would extend to outdoor spaces such as pub gardens, open-air restaurants, football stadiums, and even small parks, has sparked a massive backlash. The proposal has been met with criticism from various quarters, most notably from Nigel Farage, who has been vocal in his disapproval. Farage, never one to mince words, accused Starmer of displaying an authoritarian streak with this proposal. He warned that such a ban could have dire consequences for the future of British pubs, which are already struggling to stay afloat. He reflected on the impact of the 2006 indoor smoking ban, which reportedly led to a 20% financial hit for pubs and clubs. Farage fears that extending the ban to outdoor spaces could be the final nail in the coffin for traditional British pubs. In Farage's view, pubs are more than just places to grab a drink. They're essential community hubs where people gather to discuss local, national, and international issues. He argues that banning outdoor smoking would strip these establishments of their identity, reducing them to mere restaurants masquerading as pubs. His criticism doesn't stop at the smoking ban. Farage sees this as part of a broader pattern of government overreach by the Labour administration. The proposed smoking ban is just one of several moves by Starmer that have raised eyebrows. According to Farage, this latest initiative is emblematic of a larger issue, a government that's overstepping its bounds. He expressed concerns that if the government continues down this path, it could have unintended consequences. Farage also criticized the idea that the UK could become smoke-free by 2030, calling it unrealistic. He pointed out that other societal issues, such as drug use, alcoholism, and obesity, are far from being eradicated despite various government efforts. Farage's criticism of Starmer didn't stop there. When asked whether he anticipated such measures so early in Starmer's tenure, Farage responded that the Labour leader's authoritarian tendencies are becoming increasingly apparent. He also drew a parallel with Rishi Sunak's previous attempt to introduce a law that would have created a bizarre situation where a 25-year-old could legally buy cigarettes, but a 24-year-old could not. According to Farage, both major political parties in the UK are veering toward excessive control over personal freedoms, and he warned that alcohol could be the next target. Farage's fears are not entirely unfounded. He speculated that the Conservative Party might support Labour's smoking ban, making it difficult to block the legislation in Parliament. If this happens, Farage lamented, it could spell the end of traditional British pubs as we know them. Beyond the smoking ban, Farage also aimed at Starmer's handling of immigration, another issue that has sparked widespread discontent among Britons. Farage suggested that Starmer is deeply concerned about the public's growing dissatisfaction with both legal and illegal immigration. He accused the Labour leader of attempting to discredit anyone who opposes current immigration levels by labeling them as far-right extremists. Farage also criticized the government's response to the rise in illegal migration, particularly the number of small boats crossing the English Channel. Recent data shows that more than 7,000 small boat migrants have crossed the Channel in just 8 weeks since Labour came to power, a staggering figure that adds up to a third of the total number of migrants who have made the journey from France so far this year. Farage pointed out that this surge in illegal crossings highlights the government's failure to address the issue effectively. He also criticized Starmer's approach to those who voice concerns about immigration, accusing him of trying to silence dissent rather than addressing the underlying issues. It's not just Farage who's criticizing Starmer. Recent polling data suggests that the Labour leader's popularity is on the decline. According to a YouGov poll, more than half of Britons now disapprove of Starmer's government, a significant increase in disapproval in just 1 month. This level of discontent is particularly surprising for a government that has only been in power for 6 weeks. For comparison, during the first 2 months of Tony Blair's Labour government, only 22% of the public disapproved, whereas Starmer is already facing a 51% disapproval rate. The issues driving this dissatisfaction are varied, but key among them are concerns about immigration, crime, and pensions. One area where Starmer's government has faced intense scrutiny is pensions. Concern over Chancellor Rachel Reeves's plans for the October budget has led to a sharp rise in negative sentiment. Twice as many Britons now view pensions as a major issue compared to before the election, reflecting growing anxiety about the government's financial management. This concern is compounded by fears of potential tax increases to fund public spending measures. Many Britons are worried that higher taxes could place additional pressure on middle-income households already struggling with the rising cost of living. Business leaders have also expressed concerns that corporate tax hikes could stifle investment and hurt the UK's competitiveness on the global stage. Crime is another area where Starmer has faced criticism. The Labour leader has been accused of being too soft on crime, particularly in the wake of the recent stabbings in Southport. Critics argue that Starmer's response to these incidents has been inadequate, with many questioning whether his leadership is strong enough to handle such challenges. While Starmer has condemned the violence and called for calm, his focus on addressing underlying issues like inequality has left some wondering if he's more concerned about appeasing the so-called woke agenda than taking decisive action to restore law and order. Starmer's emphasis on community engagement and support programs has been seen by some as typical Labour rhetoric, talking points rather than tangible solutions. As Keir Starmer navigates these turbulent early days of his leadership, it's clear that he faces significant challenges. His proposed smoking ban has already sparked widespread controversy, with critics like Nigel Farage warning that it could have catastrophic consequences for British culture and community life. At the same time, Starmer's handling of other key issues, such as immigration and crime, has led to growing discontent among the public. Whether Starmer can turn things around remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the British public will be watching closely as he continues to shape the direction of his government. In the meantime, the conversation around these issues is far from over. What are your thoughts on the proposed smoking ban? Do you think Keir Starmer is leading the country in the right direction, or is he making a series of missteps that could have lasting consequences? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on all the latest developments. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.